Hello, and thank you for being here. This is a new channel, so very much appreciating your presence. So we continue talking about emails and replying to people properly. And I had the main video yesterday where I talked about why sometimes a bad email introduction is worse than any introduction at all. And today I want to dive deeper and talk about why reply time is a message in itself. And I think we have all done it. We have all thought, well, I'm going to reply tomorrow, or I have to get my thoughts together, or um, and there is a limit actually to that. Because point one, especially in business correspondence, time itself is information. A fast reply, it actually signals that you're a priority, and a slow one signals something else. Well, the opposite. Even if it is not intended. So, for generally, if you are sending an offer and somebody doesn't reply, then there are two things. Either they want to be give it some time and give it a thought, or they just don't to reply because they're not interested. Of course, normally they should be replying. That is the correct etiquette. But in business correspondence, oftentimes this gets overlooked. Why? Because we get so many offers, so many videos, people bombarding us with different things that we don't really necessarily want. So if I were to reply to all the advertising automated emails that I get, I would just spend my day doing that. So in business correspondence, I think that is already accepted for the last 5, 10 years that we don't reply. But at that same time, we do expect that we will have potentially a follow-up. And talking about business correspondence, I think that the best follow-ups that I have received is that there's another follow-up, for example, a week later, just to see whether a person is interested or not. And then they still don't reply. So you don't do anything. Don't do anything, but 3 months later, 2 months later, maybe you pick up a thread with them and say, well, hey, maybe this would be of interest to you. Is this conversation still of interest to you? But that's already when the business relationship is kind of one-on-one, when it's not, I'm not talking here about cold emails. I'm talking about people that you may approach, whom you may know, or who may know of you just a little bit. You have met them at a networking event, um, or maybe, they're one of the people that you have known for a long time, and just recently you have started presenting your idea and started seeing if they may be interested in whatever product you have to offer that solves their problem. And there's also another point. If you cannot give a full answer quickly, you can send a short reply. Thank you, I received your email. I will be able to reply by next Thursday. Or I do this also quite often. I say, well, it's vacation time now in Europe, so between 15th of July and 15th of August, people are not working, which means that I may not be working, or I may be working, but also my clients may not be working. So if there's anything that has to move forward, we can say, just let's keep that in consideration and set a date that I will be back in touch with you after the summer, or after the Christmas holidays, or after Easter holidays. And it clarifies the expectation. So you're still keeping in touch. And if the person hasn't actually replied, then you don't know if they're interested or if they have been traveling. So you're keeping that energy, that momentum flowing, and leaving yourself, or actually setting up yourself the space for future conversation. And that's quite important. So, and then point number three, match the formality to the first email you received and not necessarily your own default style. So, if they opened a formal, say, email, and it's a formal business relationship, you should always keep it, even though with time you can soften it by signing it with your first name only, which you do not do right away in Europe. In Europe, actually, you sign letters nearly always, and that includes not just formal letters, also formal emails. You sign them with your first name and your last name. And oftentimes this also happens, and it's an important point, is that you may have a conversation with a person on the telephone, or you may even go have lunch with them, and you be maybe on very friendly basis, and you have discussed a lot of things, and then you send a follow-up email. And that follow-up email, because it's black on white, written to you, it's a summary email that wraps up what we have spoken about in the meeting, even if it's doesn't necessarily always have to look like bullet points, just a little follow-up email, that should stay quite formal. Which is not the case if I talk about it. It's not really the case with WhatsApp, for example. And I think that the WhatsApp conversation and email conversation deserves its own probably video, which I may do at some later time. But WhatsApp can stay quite informal. And when you actually speak to people, you can also have that clarified. You can just say, well, the way that I prefer to work, or you may actually see somebody saying that to you, is that we may have meetings, we may have Zooms, we may have quick questions and clarifications and small advancements via WhatsApp or any other program, Signal, whatever you're using. I'm not here to advertise anything. And then the formal email just kind of solidifies it. It says, well, you put in all the points that we have, similarly as you would actually do also with a business contract. Oftentimes, or even a board meeting. Most of the time, all the work is already done before the formality comes. And the formality has to be correct, which is why we're even talking about emails here today. Because once the email is taken to the level of informal chat, or if it's not done properly, like the example that I had before when somebody sent an email, an introductory email, just kind of dropping the name and dropping the person's email address and their mobile telephone number. And they kind of assumed that this was an introduction, and this was not an introduction. This was dropping somebody's personal information without their consent into my mailbox, and I can't really do anything with it. So my expectation then is that they have checked, but quite possible if somebody has already written that email incorrectly, I have serious doubt that they, first of all, that they know the law, because by law you're already not allowed to do that. And serious doubt if they understand that they should have asked that person first. So there are all these different issues that we have with emails, which is very, very different from the type of conversation that we may have with WhatsApp. In the European context, and when I talk about the European context, and my videos are also really geared towards Eastern Europeans who have a very different business culture. I talk about old Europe, and me being Latvian, and I have quite some uh, conversations, or I'm in touch with people in the Baltic countries, not only in Latvia, but also in Lithuania. And people don't reply. There's a lot what we conceive here as huge rudeness. And when I talk about Europe or European code, I'm talking about old Europe. I'm talking about the European traditions here um, that may seem a little bit stiff. But if you want to do business here, you either make it or break it. So if you're breaking it, good luck making business here unless you're here with internationals. And even the people who are internationals here, why do people move oftentimes to Switzerland? Because they like the tradition. And why do we like the tradition? Because we know what the expectations are. We know what to expect. We have the social codes. We know how things are done. You understand by replying in a certain way what is meant by it. And it eases life. It eases life. There are no, it reduces stress. It reduces stress in all types of situations, starting from going to a restaurant to doing a business deal. So, and yeah, you can do it like this. The contract oftentimes is negotiated, and then the email is the sign. Well, the actual contract is the signing, but the email oftentimes is exactly that. You have negotiated so far whatever you have negotiated, a business introduction, a permission to send an offer, I don't know, even a permission to invite them to something. And then you send a formal email. And that email is signed by first name and last name. And then you can drop a little note in any of your communication channels like WhatsApp or Signal, whatever you're using, to say, as agreed, I have just sent you an email to confirm this or that, or I have sent you the invitation, or I have now sent you a final formalized email so you can proceed with the introduction, something like that. So in WhatsApp, you can be much more, informal. At the same time, WhatsApp messages in Europe are not uh, two lines, two words, three words, send, one word send. It's not the ping, 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 ping. No. A WhatsApp message is actually like a short email. It is still signed cordially, comma, and your name, your first name, or there you can even use the shorthand, shorten certain things, but you still put it all in one or two sentences most of the time, and or even five sentences, and you just sign it. Don't write WhatsApp messages that are long, so those you can actually separate in two or three if the ideas tend to be longer ones. And especially the French tend to write really long phrases. So on WhatsApp, we try to always reduce those. Yeah, but it still remains fairly formal. So where did we get? So point three was the formality needs to match the first email that you received or the first type of conversation that you had. And so just because you have met the person, don't think it's now the default is buddy buddy, because this is not how Europeans view it. So point four is the one thread rule. So don't scatter the same conversation across emails. Um, it's best if you have several things that you're talking about, you can either, well, if there's one or two, you can put it, of course, in the same email. Um, if you're going into depth into one of them and continuing the thread, you should probably be starting a separate email just to keep things separate. And of course, you shouldn't be sending out either five emails. So, not five emails for each project. I mean, if you're doing that, that's your golden client, and that means that you're working 100% with them on some kind of a project, which is very unlikely. Yeah. And yeah, for some of the first emails, it's always nice to refer back to the introductory story. Um, just kind of to remind people how we met. And of course, a lot of people do that by saying it was lovely meeting you, or as per our conversation. Um, and thank you so much for your time. You should always be also thanking people in these email conversations. So I hope this clarifies some of the email etiquette that we have in old Europe. And I will be talking a little bit more about certain aspects of it in different videos. And these are small nuances, but as I may have already mentioned in one of my earliest videos, especially with an introductory email, it's not, you're not sharing information. Emails are not necessarily always just for sharing information. It's for creating and developing trust, whether it's an introductory email, whether it's an invitation email. If it's an invitation to your shop opening or anything that you're organizing, it's not just the information that it's there. You are really inviting them to come to your event. And when they open it, it has to be formal and respectful enough for them to see whether this is my level, whether will I dare to come, will I find the type of people that will speak my social and behavioral language. So if you're trying to reach out to people that are clients that may be wealthier, and of course, a wealthy client is somebody we all aspire to have, then we really need to learn these cultural codes. In kind of business to business situations, things are a little bit more, no, they still remain very formal, but they're just a lot faster. And business CEOs are not wealthy clients. Business CEOs are business managers, they're people who are working to earn their money, and they may earn a lot of money, and many of them may be from the wealthier class. And when I mean about when I talk about the old Europe, a wealthier class, I mean people who have houses, who have investments, sometimes whose only job may be just managing their family wealth, which is also an entire job. So this is what I mean by the wealthier class. But class is not always only about money. This is also an important point to make in Europe. In old Europe, money does not equal class. I think that is also going to be a separate video. So sometimes you may have, of course, people who are not ultra wealthy, not even wealthy to a certain standard. They may not be working because they may be retired, but their behavior is very much that of the old old Europe, which I'm trying to explain here and trying to train you. So when you do business deals or conversations, and yes, you do business deals with old families, um, it always works much better when you have direct contact. So I want you to be successful. I want you to succeed. I want you to be able to read these culture codes. I learned them myself uh, all throughout my life. And some of you may know or may not know, I have been a cross-cultural trainer for some of the big corporations here in Switzerland. But that is already for many years not my main activity. I sell modern art to collectors. And I also teach other people how to become collectors and how to become art advisors. Yeah, all of that is just kind of happening naturally. So, due to this exposure, I have a lot of experience. I have lived also in the United States for many years. And as I mentioned, I'm Latvian origin. From a old Baltic German family. So I think a lot of the things also come naturally to me. I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope it made sense to you. And I look forward to presenting some of the more nuanced aspects of uh, living and working in old Europe in my next videos. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. And until soon. Bye.